But when he comes back and slams the door, it causes Hazel to drop the potion he's holding, but Makoto manages to catch it before it hits the ground. Morris takes them to Patrick, who's injured because he tried to feed the ambrosia to his wife, but got attacked by her, and it took several guards to stop her. He says that this spasm was nothing like before, but Hazel thinks it wasn't a spasm, and something was added to the curse to stop her from taking the medicine, which is possible with level 8 and above curses. Patrick talks about his wife, saying how she only had a mild fever, but she never recovered, and eventually lost her sanity. He starts crying because he thought the curse would end today, and Makoto asks to be taken to her room. He mentions that he'll restrain her to make sure she takes the medicine, but Patrick thinks it'll be impossible for him since he's so low level. But Hazel assures him that he'll be alright, since Makoto is the one who killed the Ruby Eyes, and Morris also shows confidence in his abilities. Makoto uses the scent of the ambrosia to draw her out, and then uses the judo moves his sister taught him to hold her in place, while Patrick makes her drink the medicine, and starts crying when she is cured. They also feed the cure to both the girls, and he thanks Makoto and the goddess, but Makoto isn't happy he's thanking the goddess. Makoto leaves Hazel behind to refine the potion, and he finds Mio and Tomo waiting for him outside, but they are suddenly attacked by a group, and he dodges their attacks, but they take them head on, because they want to check their opponent's strength. Their attacks have no effect, and Lime tells Tomo and Mio to join them. Tomo rejects his offer, but Mio wonders how much he's willing to pay. Lime offers her 10 gold, so she decides not to participate in the fight, which makes Tomo angry at her for betraying them, but she's just pretending to be on their side, because Makoto doesn't want them to repeat the same mistake as they made in Zetsuya. Makoto asks Tomo to take care of them, and she easily defeats them. Lime begs them to show mercy, and she spares him because she sees something in his memories. He apologizes for putting a sleeping curse on Patrick's family, which surprises Makoto, because the curse was a fatal one. Makoto asks him why he did this, and he says that a few months ago, he met a man who told him that the adventurers marked by the Rembrandt Company had difficulty finding work. The man suggested putting a sleeping curse on Patrick's family so he would rethink his ways, and Lime says that the man assured him the curse wouldn't harm anyone. Tomo reads his mind to see if he's telling the truth, and she sees he isn't lying, so they decide to let him go, but before he can leave, Mio takes all his gold since she stayed out of the fight. A few days later, Lime apologizes to Patrick, who accepts his apology, but tells him that he'll restrict what he can do as an adventurer, but Lime says he no longer wants to be an adventurer. We see him watching the orphanage where he grew up, when Tomo arrives and gives him a sword, which Makoto sent for him since he broke his old blade. He tells her that it was only because he heard someone from the orphanage died due to the Rembrandt Company that he fell into the man's scheme and placed the curse. She asks him to become her spy, and in return, she'll protect him and the orphanage, so he accepts her offer. Tomo then spies on Patrick, talking with Morris about how it would be bad for them if Makoto opens his own company, which makes her suspicious of them. They return to the demiplane, and Emma tells them there's a problem regarding the 3 of them. She tells them that the warriors in the demiplane have started to lose confidence in their training, because they keep getting defeated by the 3 of them. Mio thinks that they shouldn't fight them for a while, but Tomo is against this idea, since it'll make everyone think that they've been abandoned. Makoto wants to check up on everyone, so he tells Tomo to meet with the lizard men, and asks Mio to go with him to check on the Alki. They go with Emma, and overhear the orcs talking about their upcoming training, and how it's depressing to fight Makoto, since Tomo and Mio let themselves get hit, but they can't even get close to Makoto. On their way, they meet Tomo, who tells them that the lizardmen's situation is similar to the orcs. Makoto notes that the different races aren't exchanging information with each other, and Emma mentions that everyone prefers to keep their combat techniques hidden from the other races, but he thinks that it'll be interesting to see them trying each other's styles. So they gather all the lizard men and orcs, and tell them they're doing a special training to see how powerful they are. Both sides send their most powerful warrior and the match begins. The fighters destroy the ring, which impresses Makoto, but he keeps a straight face because it's what Tomo asked him to do. The match ends with the orcs' victory, but Tomo isn't impressed and calls them both weaklings. She asks one of the orcs why they're weak, and he says that even though they seem weak to her, the match was incredible for them, but she says that they've yet to reach the level of strength that is expected of them. Makoto asks her not to go too hard on them, but she ignores him and says that they're expected to be strong enough so they can be relied upon. Since they can't measure their strength correctly by fighting the three of them, they will gather every week to fight against each other. Their strength will be measured, and they'll be given a ranking, saying it also applies to the dwarves and alkies. Everyone is concerned that their fighting techniques will be exposed, but Tomo says that since they're so weak, they shouldn't worry about this. They'll prove their strength by winning in these matches, and the ones at the top of the ranking will be known as great warriors, and those who fail to show any results should find other work, because there are more ways to contribute than just being a warrior. Tomo's clone invites Makoto to say a few words, but he's too nervous, so he just agrees with Tomo, saying they don't have anything worth concealing, but he knows they can get stronger, so they should help each other improve. While he's thinking about what to name this new ranking system, Tomo tells everyone to get ready for the dimension ranking, but Makoto isn't sure about the name. Upon retesting their levels, Mio is at level 1500, while Tomo is now at level 1340, which Makoto thinks is impressive since she increased her level by 20, while he is still stuck at 1. But Tomo isn't happy, because she expected a better result from her training. The receptionist mentions that the guild is short-handed, because most of their top members have left or are injured, so he's requested to train other adventurers, and Makoto says he knows a group of adventurers that can help. Makoto asks Tomo to train Toa and the others, so she thinks about looking for a place to train near the guild, but she remembers how Makoto reacted when he saw Toa, making her think that she must resemble someone from his previous life. She doesn't want anything to affect her time with him, so she thinks she needs to quickly make them strong enough and independent of Makoto. The training starts, and the group goes to fight a swarm of Shadow Tails, but Tomo has to step in and save them, after which she yells at them for their poor strategy. She decides to teach them basic tactics, so she tells Hazel to make a trap using water and earth magic, and tells Louisa to find a place with a clear view. She tells Hazel to add poison to the mud, and then lets them continue the fight. The monkeys step into the trap and can't move, giving Louisa a clear target to aim at, and the ones who survive are defeated by Nina, who hits them head-on, and Toa, who uses her thief skills to conceal herself and attack from behind. She tells Hazel that by using this strategy, he can use offensive magic freely, because he doesn't have to heal anyone except Nina, so they defeat all of their enemies following her strategy. After their successful mission, she tells them they'll fight another nest on their own, because even if their level isn't high, they should continue challenging their limits and prove they're the best. Tomo returns to the guild, and informs the receptionist that she's assigned the job of defeating the Shadowtail nests to Toa and her team. The receptionist is shocked, because she doubts they're strong enough for the task, but she's surprised when the group shows up with the tails of 2 monkey lords, proving that they cleared 2 nests. On the other hand, Makoto tells Mio to go to the Tinnarak forest and find the ambrosia flower, because he wants it to become their signature product. He goes to see Patrick and requests to rent one of their stores, but Patrick wonders why he doesn't want to buy his own shop. We see Makoto learn from the Merchant Guild's receptionist that if someone buys their own shop, the government will ask them to spy for them if they're in the Ion Kingdom. Patrick tells him there's a neutral city that isn't tied to any country, and he thinks it would be perfect for him to start his store. He even knows someone in that city, so he asks Makoto to wait until he can contact him. Meanwhile, Mio reaches the Tinnarak forest, but she doesn't like it because there seems to be nothing tasty there. A human party also enters the forest, and they are watched by 2 elves, who don't seem happy about them trespassing.